How good or bad has your team done since the millennial? 2000 was 24 years ago, and I saw a post floating around regarding every single team's postseason success or non-success, however you want to look at it. Let's take a look at all 30 clubs here, and I'm going to go over the notable ones at least, to me, that really stand out, some of the best, some of the worst. Drop a comment down below of anything I missed that you think is rather noteworthy. So here's the post. We're going to start off with the World Series wins. Obviously, we all know the Boston Red Sox have the most World Series wins at 4. They're perfect 4-0 in the World Series since the year 2000. Again, this is a team that was cursed, right? The curse of the Bambino for I think 86 years, and then they've just rattled off 4 straight World Series wins over the last 24 years. So that's not too bad. And the Red Sox are a team that I don't really like, but they win. That's kind of why I don't like them. Right behind the Red Sox is another team I don't really like as well. It's the San Francisco Giants with their 3-5 back in 2010, 2012, and 2014. They got some good runs. Not the greatest teams on paper, right? Not the scariest teams on paper, but they played good baseball and they got it done. Great dynasty the Giants had. 2 teams then tied with 2 World Series wins, those being the Cardinals, Astros, 2 old division foes. If you're old enough to go back to the Astros in the National League, Astros of course won both the World Series in the American League, but Cardinals and Astros were once upon a time in the National League Central. 11 different World Series winners tied with 1 World Series win each. All in all, 17 teams have won the World Series over the last 24 years. So I think there's a pretty good parity in that. Moving along to the World Series losses. Top of this list is also going to be the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros, 2 World Series wins, but they also have 3 World Series losses. So there's no really shame in losing a World Series. I mean, you get all the way to the Fall Classic, that's a really good run. Of course, you want to win the World Series every time you're there, but losing 3 World Series, it's a lot of World Series to lose. I know it's tough, no shame in that. There are 8 teams tied with 2 World Series losses since 2000, include the Yankees, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Rangers, the Tigers, the Mets, and the Rays have all lost 2 World Series each. I could comment on the Dodgers losing their couple World Series in 17 and 18. I still think both of those years were definitely winnable World Series. Say what you want about 17, say what you want about 18. I think they could have won each and every series in different manners, but they lost them both. Belong to the LCS losses. The Yankees lead this list at 6 LCS losses. The Yankees make the postseason a lot, win World Series, and they also have their fair share of losing in the postseason with 6 LCS losses. Again, the Yankees haven't made a trip to the Fall Classic since 2009, so it's been a long time. 2 teams tied at 5 LCS losses include the St. Louis Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So no real surprise here either. The Cardinals and the Dodgers, since 2000, usually always in the postseason and usually making pretty good runs in the postseason, but they both respectively top out at 5 LCS losses. And you have the Astros at 4, so once again, the Astros, 2 World Series rings, 3 World Series losses, and they have 4 LCS losses since 2000, so they're right there in the mix. You can make the case that who is the best team since 2000, and the Astros have to be at least top 3, I would imagine. And then you have 3 teams tied with the LCS losses apiece: the Red Sox, the Braves, and the Cubs. No shockers there either. Those are the class of the class when it comes to Major League Baseball. Move along to the LDS losers, and who leads that list? Well, it's not even close. It's the Atlanta Braves with 10 League Division Series losses. I wasn't around for the 90s Braves, but I know they had a really good run there, like 15 years making the postseason, and they never did much in the postseason. But the Braves, even since 2000, 10 LDS losses. That's got to be hard to swallow if you're a Braves fan. The Yankees right there behind them at 7 LDS losses, and the Twins at 7 LDS losses. Not too surprising for me because the Twins, weak division, they'll get in the postseason, but we know the Twins are notorious for immediately leaving the postseason in rather quick fashion. So it's not too shocking that the Twins have 7 LDS losses, as do the Dodgers. Not too surprised by that either. I would hope they go further a lot of the time, but they really don't. And topping off the list with also 7 LDS losses is the Oakland A's. This one is sort of kind of shocking, but we know the A's have had good squads. When the A's are in the postseason, they never make much noise. So The A's 7 LDS losses since 2000. Wild card series losses or wild card game losses. There are 4 teams tied with 3 wild card losses. They include the Cardinals, Brewers, Blue Jays, and A's. Not too many shockers in that. Also 5 teams tied with 2 wildcard losses. I thought the Brewers would be at top of the list. For me, when it comes to wildcard losses, I feel like the Brewers would have been at the top of the list, but they are at the top of the list, just tied 2 other teams. Then you have missing the postseason altogether. Who leads missing the postseason chart? That would be the Kansas City Royals. At 22 out of 24 years, the Kansas City Royals have missed the postseason. That shocked me. I know they haven't made the postseason since they won the World Series in 2015. I would have thought they got into the postseason before that, at least a couple of times, but no. Only 2014 and 2015, those 2 long World Series runs, that's it. So that is a pretty crazy stat there. Pittsburgh Pirates, Seattle Mariners, and Miami Marlins have 21 seasons missing the playoffs out of 24. No surprises there. The Pirates have been terrible, minus those 13, 14, and 15 teams, I believe. They have been terrible. The Mariners have also been terrible for a very long time. They made the postseason finally a couple years ago. And the Marlins, we don't expect much of the Marlins really ever. 21 of the 24 postseason misses. There are also 4 teams tied with 20, the Reds, Orioles, Rockies, and Padres. So yeah, that is a list you don't want to be on. Now, who has missed the postseason the least amount of times? That would include the Yankees at 5 times missing the postseason. Of course, they missed it last year. That was a really big shocker when the Yankees missed it. They don't miss it much. 5 times out of 24 seasons. That's not too shabby. The Cardinals have missed it 8 times. The Dodgers do it 9 times. Even the Dodgers would have been at first or at least second. They're third. Dodgers have missed it 9 times, but they've been really, really good over the last 11 years. You got the Braves in there, missing the postseason only 9 times, and 3 teams tied with 13, the Red Sox, the Astros, and the Oakland A's, which is the biggest surprise of that list. So that is all I got on this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on any surprises. Just taking a look back at the history of baseball over the last 24 years in the postseason.